Sorry to report of the passing of Leo Burke at 76 years old, Canadian wrestling legend, especially in the Maritimes in Calgary. Trained guys like Glenn Kolka, Edge, or he had some train. At one point, Bret Hart had like a ring over his pool. And before they had this whole NXT system, they had the Memphis territory that they were using kind of as development, but Bret Hart was also training wrestlers over his pool. I think Ken Shamrock even trained there for a bit, and there was a bunch of guys that never actually made it. Even WCW had like a development deal with guys that were training over Bret Hart's pool, and some of those guys, even though they were under contract, wrestled like on dark matches here and there when WCW came to Canada, but they actually didn't ever appear on TV. But Leo Burke was the one training people. He also was training the Mat Rats wrestlers a bit, and that's really the only contact I had with him back when I was brought in by Eric Bischoff and Tez Hart's Mat Rats to Calgary. Leo Burke was the one that showed me how to lock up and take bumps at the Mat Rats studio. Other than that, I tried to get an interview with him probably over the last 5 years, and he had been suffering from numerous health issues. He wasn't in any condition to do interviews. And like it seemed in pictures I'd seen for 76 years old, he seemed like even older than 76. Like for instance, my dad, 76, he's still very sharp. Doesn't look like he's in his 80s or 90s. It looked like Leo Burke was quite downhill. So sorry to hear about his passing. In other news, the NXT's rating did 0.13 Tuesday, which is not good. I mean, it's still usually they beat Collision, but they didn't beat Collision with that rating. Collision last week did a 0.15. So I guess the whole TNA NXT crossover is kind of getting stale. One thing I'm sick of hearing is like how much TNA, I mean, I don't blame them for bragging about their crowd over the weekend for the pay-per-view in Montreal. But like, let's keep in mind here, Jacques Rougeau got the same crowd every time he went to that arena. So it's more the arena and the local promotion that PCO did than like people coming based on the regular TNA guys. Like, I don't think their next show is going to get anywhere near that crowd. That was like an outlier. Yeah, and the other thing that's very interesting is the ESPN ABC affiliate Amazon Prime is getting the NBA. They had been with Warner Brothers Discovery. They had made a big money offer to keep the NBA, and maybe if they had got the NBA, it would have affected AEW's renewal with them because there may have been less money to throw around. But now that the NBA is moving to Amazon Prime, I would say it increases the likelihood that Warner Brothers Discovery is going to try and keep AEW. So there you go. I guess on NXT, everyone that attended last night's or Tuesday night's NXT got an autographed Joe Hendry poster. So I guess he either had a concert at that show or is doing a concert. I really didn't see the show, so I couldn't tell you. But I will say he has a good voice. Ivan says Leo Burke beat Carlos Colon for the Universal title. There you go. Well, Carlos used to wrestle for Stampede, as you know. He had a famous fight against Dave Rule in Stampede Wrestling, which Carlos won. So he probably knew Leo from the Stampede Wrestling days. Chris Newman, PCO putting in the work and WWE exposure, got that house. Don't think it's going to keep up. Yeah, exactly. And again, PCO and Jacques Rougeau sold out that same arena many, many, many times. So it's not like there's been wrestling shows at that arena that haven't been sold out in recent years. I've wrestled in that arena. It's been sold out. Just for whatever reason, Jacques Rougeau when he popularized shows, it never got in the Observer. Like, he never like videotaped them. So nobody really knew the crowds that Jacques was getting, but when he was running shows, he was getting 3,000 to 5,000, as many as 11,000. I mean, he even once in 2002 ran the Bell Center with just Sid and got 9,000. He's good at promoting, but he's not good at like popularizing the good crowds that he gets.